Good morning again, everybody. This morning, I want to talk to you about some more expressions that we say that should give you pause. One of them that gave me pause, even as early as even when I was a young child, probably 1 or 0. I used to lose a lot of things. I don't know what happened to them. That's what losing means, I guess. So my mom would always say, "You'd lose your head if it wasn't attached to you." And at first, it was that hearing that expression was like, because I'm a wise guy by nature, I was like, well, actually, if your head wasn't attached to your body, you wouldn't be able to lose it because your body wouldn't be able to do anything. Because, as you know, the neurological function courses through your body. Your brain is kind of the center. So if your head was not connected to your body, you wouldn't be losing anything, except maybe your life. But then I was like, okay, you know what? Let me take this on its own terms. Let's just accept the phrase for what it is. We'll give it what we call there's a concept in fiction that we call the willing suspension of disbelief. It's like when you're reading a fiction book, you just let yeah, okay, we know in real life there are no hobbits, but we're going to let J.R.R. Tolkien have his way here. We're going to assume that there are. So let's assume, Mom, for a moment, that our heads and bodies, if they could become detached, we could still survive. And her claim was that if my head was not attached to my body, physically attached, I would lose my head. And my argument was, duh, because how would you ever if you ever lifted your head from your body, how would you ever get it back on? Your body has no sensory organs. Your body could not see where the head is. Your body could not hear you calling to. Your head might be like, hey, over here, to your left, warmer, Marco. Your body could not say polo. If you're going to wait for your body to say polo, you better pack a lunch. It's not going to happen. Your body would just be groping around, trying to grasp the top of your hair. And of course, in my case, we know how futile that would be. So when you really look at that expression, it really doesn't make any sense at all. In fact, I think people sometimes don't even think about what they're saying, because I had a teacher in the 6th grade who was we were learning about the French Revolution, which I guess is a historical era, and they used the guillotine in the French Revolution. The guillotine or guillotine? I've heard guillotine and I've heard guillotine. I've never heard guillotine, but when you look at it, that kind of looks like what it would be. So whatever you call it, a guillotine, it was a device that chopped people's head off in the French Revolution. It was like an execution torture device. And this teacher was telling us that, I can't remember if it was a science teacher or a history teacher, telling us that that the body actually goes on living for several seconds after the head is detached. And she once read a story about a man who had his head cut off in a guillotine, or guillotine, and his body got up, walked over, picked up his own head, and kissed it. That should be enough time for you to figure out why that teacher was dreadfully wrong in believing that story. How is your body your body has no okay, listen, if I have to explain it to you, we're in big trouble here. So the last thing I want to say about this is another expression my mom would have is when I would go to look for something. And I think this might be one of the reasons I lost a lot of things, is because when I would look for them, I wasn't very good at finding them. Like well, where's my jacket? I don't know. And I'm looking all throughout the room and it's like on my body. So when I would look for things, my mom would say, like, there it is, right there in front of you. If it were a snake, it would have bit you. And which is a harrowing thing to tell a kid, because you're afraid of snakes anyway. And so it's nice to know your mom's telling you, you get too close to a snake, it's going to bite you. But then again, when you look at it a different way, it might be the snake doing you a favor, because that might be the only way the snake can reach out to you to say, look, here I am, come get me. Snakes don't talk. They don't really wave their arms. They don't do anything like that. So, and most of them are non-poisonous. So even if they did bite you, it wouldn't do much damage. Now, don't take that as a license to go horsing around snakes, because some of them will kill you. But but then I thought the final thing I want to say about this is, if to be more efficient, my mom might have put those expressions together, and instead of saying that, she might have said, well, I can't believe you couldn't find that thing. If it were your own head, it would have bit you. And that would be an image to put in your head to really mess up your childhood. So I don't know. I don't know if she should have done that or not on second thought. I know what you should be doing on second thought, and that is finishing up your work. We only got a couple of weeks left at school. I know you are reading Greek myths and American folk tales, and hopefully you are learning a lot about those. I am here for you to answer your questions about myths, folklore, or phrases, or anything else you got. So be sure to email me if you have anything. In the meantime, stay negative, and we'll talk again tomorrow.